Welcome to the week 1 recording for web design class. You can see that week 1 goes from April 1st to April 7th. And the first thing you want to do, of course, is look at the welcome announcement. So you can see a little bit about the welcome announcement, the 5 items that I talk about here, looking at the syllabus, watching the Getting Started video, which you're doing now, doing the Getting Started write-up that I'll talk about, the Introduce Yourself discussion, and the learning plan. So that's what you need to do for this week. But more specifically, I have it right here in this announcement, and this is how I do my announcements for all my classes. So eventually you'll see week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, etc. But I try to break the announcements down into Tuesday and Thursday, or break the week's work down into Tuesday and Thursday, so you will have a better idea of how you can schedule your work. So you can see I have it for Tuesday and then Thursday work, from April 1st through April 7th. Now, I schedule my classes from Monday all the way through the next Sunday. That's what I consider the week. But ideally, you'd turn your work in on Friday. So in this case, turn your work in by April 5th, Friday, and you have nothing to worry about for the weekend. You can do the work any way you want. You don't have to stick to Tuesdays and Thursdays. Some students might just do all the work on Wednesday. Get the whole class done on Wednesday. So however you want to do it is fine, but try to get your work submitted by Friday. That would be the best thing. And we'll come back to some of these others, but the other thing I want to show you while we're here is here's a video I put together. It's about 8 minutes on how to be successful online. I think the 8 minutes will be worth your time because it can really help you in figuring out how you can earn the grade that you want for this class and any class. So let's jump right in here. So what I'm going to do is just cover different items over here on the left side to get you familiar with how the course operates. So, first of all, Mr. Harrison is my name. A lot of you have been in my classes. My contact information is right up here. I need to get my picture fixed. But you can see a little bit of information about me. Please just call me Mr. H. That would be fine. I've been teaching online since 2001. I've also been an online student like you. I earned my master's degree online. I also did a lot of my principal licensure program online. And I was at one time I was a teacher in a regular school, actually 8 years in a regular classroom. I coached basketball and track, and then I live here in Grand Junction. And course information. So this course, what you're going to do is you're going to master some website creation essentials. So you're going to learn about the different tools to create websites, how to make websites that follow copyright law and American Disabilities Act law and different things like that. And you will communicate via email and Class Connect. So you're going to learn a lot about web design, and many of you probably know some about web design, so maybe you'll teach me something. So taking a look at this, as we go through the class, the first part of the class we're going to be doing coding. And we're going to be doing the coding in Notepad. So all computers should have notepads. You can go to Start, Programs, and then you'll see Notepad in there. Or might it be under Accessories, but you have to use Notepad for the coding part of the class. You cannot use MS Word or a word processor. Then later on, when we do what's called WYSIWYG, which means what you see is what you get design, we're going to use a program called NVU. And I'll tell you when to download that and install it and everything. Some of the course objectives. So plan and apply color schemes for websites. Oops. Let me get the sides back up on this. There we go. So plan and design color schemes, use online graphics, learn some about copyright law and fair use, things like that. Build and maintain a web portfolio. So you can see the different things we'll be doing in this class. The course outline, so a basic part of it, Unit 1, the planning, organizing, then elements of design, using hyperlinks, graphics, etc. So you can see all the different things we'll cover in this class. And you'll see about halfway through the class we'll get into using NVU. Now I might restructure the class a little bit, but in general this is the schedule we'll follow. Grading information you'll see on the syllabus. You can see this class is worth 1,000 points, and the grade is broken down this way. I like putting my classes at 1,000. That way it's really easy for you to figure out the percentage you've earned. So all you have to do is just take the decimal point and move it one place to the left. So if you earn 794 points, then that means it's 79.4%. percent, right? Lastly, Class Connect write-ups. Class Connect write-ups are a thing that I've added to my classes. I started about a year ago. And what they do is they introduce you to the content for the week as an introduction, but they also are a way to get some really easy points. And we'll talk about those more as we go on, but again, they're easy to do. You have usually 10 questions on Class Connect write-ups, and I even show you the answers in the recordings, and we'll have an example of how we do one of those today. So that's the syllabus. Getting started. So of course you're watching the video now. Look at the syllabus, complete the introduce yourself entry so you can see some of the things you'll do, and this is sort of repetitive from the assignment for the week. The getting started video, you'll click right here and be able to watch the video. Then the getting started write-up, we'll come back to this in a minute to answer all those questions. But I want to get through all the other content we have on this side over here. Introduce yourself discussion. In this discussion, I just want to learn a little bit about you, and maybe you can share some information so your classmates can learn a little bit about you. And the way that you'll do this, you'll just answer all 6 of these questions. And you can also reply to classmates, but keep your, whatever you say, keep your language and school appropriate, right? The topics and such. And the way you'll do it, you have these 6 questions, and if you want to respond, you just hit the word respond right there, right below the questions, and then you put I am Susie student, and then you just answer the 6 questions right down below here, right? I'm going to hit cancel on that. And then you post it. You can see my answers down here, and you see how I used complete sentences, right? So please use complete sentences on yours when you post them. Now, if you want to respond to mine or to a classmate, you hit respond directly underneath that person's entry. Up here, you hit respond if you want to make your original entry. So please do those correctly. So you do that introduce yourself, real easy to do, just some really simple, silly, basic questions. My learning plan assignment. My learning plan, this is worth 50 points, so that's about 5% of your grade. Since the class is worth 1,000 points, 50 is 5% of 1,000. And there are really no right or wrong answers, but I will grade on completeness. So you take a look at this. I want to know how you plan to succeed in this class. And I'm going to go through these steps on how you would submit this. So all you're going to do is you'll take all of this, you'll copy and paste it, so you highlight it all, right-click, copy, paste it into a word processor. Then once you paste it into the word processor, you'll answer these. Now some of them, like the ones that have multiple choice, on your word processor, you just delete the ones that aren't yours. So example, if this was in a word processor, I would just highlight these 2 and then hit my delete button. So then that just leaves as it is scheduled as my answer for number 1. Pretty easy, right? For number 2, I might delete these 2, and then 7 or more is going to be my answer. What grade do you plan to earn? Well, I want to get an A for sure, so I would highlight these 3 items, delete them in the word processor, and then that's my answer sitting there. Very simple. So in those multiple choice, it's real easy to answer those. Then we get to these other ones. And number 4, what will you do to make sure you earn the grade you want? I want 3 or 4 specific things. I don't want, I will go to class, I will turn in work. You could turn in lousy work. That wouldn't give you the grade you want, right? I want specific things. Like, I will make a weekly work schedule and stick to it. Or I will work on this class on Wednesdays and Thursdays from 2 until 4. That's specific, isn't it? Or I will have my parents double check my work before I submit it. That's specific. So I want specific things that you will do to pass this class, 3 or 4. And number 5, just keep the one that is your selection. Number 6, what are some things you could do if you don't understand an assignment? Well, there are a number of things. You could reread the assignment, right? You could probably go watch the lesson recording in which I talk about the assignment probably. You could go look at the assignment samples that I provide, the video on the assignment samples that I provide. You could ask a parent. You could ask Mr. H. You could ask a fellow classmate. So lots of things you could do if you don't understand an assignment. Then finally, number 7, background knowledge or skills help you succeed in the class. Just tell me something about yourself that you think might help you succeed. So that's the learning plan. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, the other thing about the learning plan, take a look at this. So let's say you've answered all these in the word processor, and then I say right here, save as Web Design My Learning Plan. That's the exact name I want you to save it as. If you save it as anything different, I'm going to take off 10 points automatically. I'm telling you the exact name. That is exactly what I expect. And then you save that file and you submit it as an attached file in the Dropbox. Actually, what I better do, just to make sure you see this as an attached file in the Dropbox, so I'm going to go ahead and put bold on that. So it's an attached file in the Dropbox. So this is going to be an attached file in the Dropbox. The write-up that you'll do later on, that's going to be a text file. We'll see what you do with that. So there's the learning plan. Very simple for you to do, I hope. Easy 50 points. Okay, Class Connects is part of my class, and teachers use Class Connects differently. A lot of teachers use them to go over the lesson with you. What I do with my Class Connects are tutoring session or assist sessions or training sessions. So I pre-record the lessons each week. I usually record them on like the week before, and then I have them posted. Then you can go in and watch them on Monday or whatever you want to do, or before the week starts, however you want to do to watch those recordings. Now sometimes students might just come to the Class Connects and say, Mr. Harrison, I'm doing fine, I have no questions, but then they stay signed in and continue working. You don't just leave, because when you sign in, I expect everyone to be working on this class at least on Mondays from 12 to 1. I'm going to be here, so I expect you to be here. Even if you have no questions, you can at least come in, stay logged in, and get some work done. So you work on the web design class during that, no matter what assignment you're on. If you have questions, I'm there to help you, to answer questions for you. And when I've done this before and pre-recorded, the students have really liked that, being able to work at their own pace that way. And then when they come in, they can just log in to the Class Connect on this particular time frame and be in there to get work done. Okay, the course schedule. This course schedule is going to be in the doc sharing area, so I'll have it posted up there for you to download. Grading information, we looked at this a little bit. So you can see what the class is worth 1,000 points. You can see all that. And also down here, the different assignments, the values, and the numbers of those assignments. This is going to change a little bit, so I don't have it finalized, but it's going to be pretty close to that. Communications, extremely important online, isn't it? Because we don't get to see each other face to face. Best way to communicate with me is through Kmail. I check that all the time. Let's talk about other ways to communicate. Announcements is one way. I always list assignments in the announcements, the work for the week. I have announcements for class-wide issues. So if I have 3 or 4 students that are saying, hey, I don't understand how to make a hyperlink, then I would put in the announcements, I'll probably make a quick video that says how to do a hyperlink. So always go to the announcements if you have questions. See if I've answered your question before you ask me about it. Kmail, best way to get in touch with me individually, but there's certain directions you need to follow. Please pay attention. When you send Kmail, we have no idea, we don't know what class you're in. The Kmail does not tell us. What I like you to do, and I hope all teachers are doing this, in the subject line of the Kmail, type the name of the course and the topic of your email. For instance, let's say that you're having trouble getting the portfolio project to work. Then you would, in the subject line of the Kmail to me, you would type this exactly. Web design cannot get portfolio project to work. That way I have an idea of what your issue is. Don't just send me a Kmail and say web design need help. That doesn't help me. And then of course in the body of the Kmail you would explain more about the problem you're having. So that's one thing about Kmail. Now the other thing is that if it's a new topic, use a new Kmail, use a new subject line. Example, I've had in the past when I send out my weekly announcements for work, I'll have a student respond and not change the subject line, but then in the email it says, Mr. H, I can't figure out how to download the NVU program. Well, they didn't change the subject line, so the subject has nothing to do with the body of their K-mail. So either write a new K-mail, which is what I prefer, or revise the subject line. Don't just simply reply to an old email from me with a different subject or different topic. A lot of times I'll just return that and say, please submit your K-mail to me properly. And within the K-mail, make sure you are specific about what the problem is. So I could probably, if you're really specific, I could get back to you in just one email. So for instance, if your K-mail says web design, in the subject line web design, cannot download NVU, and then in the body of the K-mail you say, I've gone to the site in the course where you say to download NVU, but I can't seem to get it downloaded. I'm using Internet Explorer. Can you help me? Then I'll come back and I'll say, hey, here's another link to download it. That way we don't have to send 3 or 4 K-mails back and forth, do we? So be specific in the question you have or the issues you have. Phone calls, no problem with phone calls, but don't just call me out of the blue, please. I could be working with another student. I could be having lunch, any number of things. But if you want to talk to me on the phone, we can schedule that ahead of time. So sometimes you might send me a K-mail and say, hey, Mr. Harrison, I need to talk to you on the phone about my grade. Then I'll shoot back and say, I'm available tomorrow between 1 and 2. Give me a time. Then you shoot back a K-mail and say, I'll call you at 1:15. Class Connects. I have something called Ongoing Class Connects. And Ongoing Class Connects are for immediate help. So you can see it right over here. See this link that says Immediate Help on the left? You'll click that. And then right here, click this, and it'll take you right into a Class Connect room, and I'll be waiting for you in there. Now, the thing about these, we have to set these up ahead of time. So we would previously agreed to meet. So maybe you go to me and say, I'm having trouble downloading NVU. And then I would say, well, tomorrow at 2 o'clock or 2:15, I'll meet you in the Immediate Help Class Connect, and we'll talk about this. So we schedule that session. And even though it's not immediate help, although it can be, I call it immediate help because it means that I don't have to go and schedule a special session through the website or anything. It's just ongoing. It's just like if I was, had my office and I'd say, okay, I'll meet you in my office at 2:15. Well, that's what the immediate help session is like. But we set that up ahead of time. Last couple of things about communications on Skype. And I think Skype and Windows Live Messenger have merged, so I'm going to try to get that figured out, but I'll try to have either my Live open or my Skype open for immediate questions, things like that. Okay, we covered immediate help already. Teacher contact information. There's everything you need to know about how to contact me. Then all these other items on the left, the course help, academic integrity, those are all part of K-12, so you can read through those. Schedule, don't worry about this schedule. This isn't our course schedule. I'm going to delete that. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and get that out of the way because it's what K-12 put in. I'm just going to hide that schedule. So I don't have that. Won't be bothering you. Okay, so what we've done is we've gone through everything on the left side over here. Now, a couple of other things, actually we'll cover them as we go through this. So we've covered all of this. So now if I go back to week 1 work, so we've looked at the syllabus, we looked at getting started information, you watched all that in this video, you're watching the getting started video, and now the getting started write-up you need to complete. So let's look at that. Here's the getting started write-up. And these are the same, this is the same as the Class Connect write-ups that we have each week. On this getting started write-up and the Class Connect write-ups, real easy to do. Copy and paste into the word processor. So you'll take these 10 questions, highlight them all, right-click copy, paste into a word processor. Make sure they have numbers on them, numbers 1 through 10. That way I can give you proper feedback when you turn them in. Then as you watch this recording, you find the answers. Then you'll put your answers directly beneath each of the questions in your word processor program. Check your spelling, check your grammar, all of that stuff. So you answer them complete questions, complete answers. Then in your word processor, you highlight everything that you've typed in. You copy and you paste it as text in the Dropbox. You do not attach a file. So then you go to the Dropbox, and right in the Dropbox area, there's a place where you can put the text in, and you put it right in there. That way, when I go open up the Dropbox, I can answer it immediately or read it immediately. I don't have to open up the file. So for this Getting Started write-up and the Class Connect write-ups that you'll do later on, like in week 2 of Class Connect write-up, those write-ups are always done as text in the Dropbox, not as an attached file. Always text in the Dropbox on those things. Okay? So really easy to do. And really easy 20 points. Each of these is worth 10 points, I believe. Now remember the other thing you're going to do is the learning plan. And the learning plan is different. The learning plan is going to be attached file in the Dropbox. So on each of these I tell you the exact directions, so make sure you follow those directions getting right. Okay, so now let's answer these questions. How many points is my learning plan worth and how do I submit it? Well, let's go to the learning plan. Right here, 50 points. You submit it as an attached file in the Dropbox. Pretty easy, right? And number 2, the exact subject line in a K-mail asking me to clarify assignment 3. Well, remember I said in the subject line you want to have the course, so you put web design, and then the subject of your K-mail is going to be please clarify assignment 3. So the answer number 2 is going to be web design, please clarify assignment 3. That's the answer to question number 2. Simple as that. Okay, number 3, what times are the weekly live Class Connects? Well, let's go to Class Connects right here. 12 to 1 on Mondays. How are the lesson recordings helpful for you? Well, the lesson recordings do 2 things. Lesson recordings, the most important thing they do is they tell you and show you what work you're going to be doing for that week. So they introduce you to the topic. That's one thing. The second thing lesson recordings are helpful for is they give you easy points for the class by helping you do the Class Connect write-ups. So lesson recordings introduce you to the topic for the week, and they help you do the Class Connect write-ups, the weekly write-ups. How can you prepare yourself for quizzes and exams? Let's take a look. I'm going to scroll down, and here is the next unit, and that says PO Unit Quiz. Well, there's going to be an item there called PO Unit Quiz Preview. PO Unit Quiz Preview. So that's, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. No, I'll skip that. But anyway, the way that you prepare, if I get back to the Getting Started write-up, the way that you prepare for quizzes and exams is look at the quiz or exam preview. That's the answer. Where can you see all links to all session recordings? If I go to the course home, and in the announcement, right here, I'm going to have links to all the lesson recordings. Right there. How can you see the feedback teacher's giving you on an assignment? Well, anything that gets graded, you click on the grade and you can see the notes that the teacher has given you to complete the assignment to get a better grade. And what I do, I'll accept your work, however many times it takes you to turn it in, if you're making an effort to actually do it right. I've had students in the past when I said, you know, you did really badly on this, you got 20 out of 80, please revise questions 1, 3, 7, 5, 9, 12, whatever. And I get it back and they've only fixed one of the questions, then I'll say you get one more chance, and this is your last chance to revise this. I'm not going to play any games with kids that just turn in junk. So go by the feedback that I give you, fix the assignment, get 100%, turn it in. Okay, where can you find the work to be done each week? Well, if we look right here, go to the course home, but we find the work in the announcements right here. See that? Week 1, April 7, we don't find it in the course home. course, home's over here, and there's nothing about assignments over here. The assignments are in the announcements. That's where we find the assignments each week. Last two questions. What program we use for HTML coding and WYSIWYG? Well, if I go to the syllabus, right here it says you're going to use Notepad for the coding, so that's for the HTML coding we do is Notepad. And you're going to be using a program called NVU for the WYSIWYG work. So Notepad and NVU. So what we've done is we just answered all of these questions. So again, this is the Getting Started Write-Up, and you'll just answer all those, submit as text in the Dropbox, not as an attached file. And that's all I have for you. That will get you through week one. And week one, I think there are about 70 points in the class. There's the learning plan, which is 50 points. And then there's the Getting Started Write-Up, which is 20 points. There's an easy 70 points for this week. So thanks for watching, everyone. I look forward to your work coming in. Bye.